Ah, a visitor. Welcome, welcome. It's a sincere... Tell me. Ah, yes. I will tell you everything I know. But first, the one thing I long for above all else before I die is a good... Let us find out with this simple question. Excellent. I see you are indeed quite astute. Very few come to that realization before their time in the sun is over. Now, will you join me in a friendly Socratic dialogue? Wonderful. Then let me begin with a question. Would you say you know the difference between right and wrong? You are an overthinker too. We're the same then.
Yeah.
It is probably why I became a philosopher. But if you struggle with right and wrong normally, then down here with the golden rule, surely your struggle can only have become more difficult. Well, that's reassuring. And the truth is, you're not alone. You see, out there in the world, being uncertain about right and wrong was acceptable, because our mistakes rarely had consequences. So we would tell lies and bend rules and turn a blind eye and rationalize, and yet still find a way to think of ourselves as good people. But under the golden rule, morality matters. The slightest wrongdoing could result in a mass execution. So to navigate this maze, we would have to be certain about the difference between right and wrong. Wouldn't you agree? That is an excellent question, and it leads directly to my next line of inquiry. So let me ask you this. Is there one system of morality which is always perfectly correct?
No.
Which you could follow in every situation and always do the right thing? Are you sure? Or is it possible that humans simply haven't figured out the right system yet? So is it up to each of us to decide what right and wrong mean to us individually? Or must we simply follow the laws and customs of whichever community we're in? Ah, you know, I think you'd find an ally in Herodotus, a scribe from among my people who lived some 400 years ago. He told the story of a man named Darius, whose curiosity was piqued when he learned that a certain tribe had the practice of eating their dead. He asked some Greeks who burnt their dead, "What would it take for you to eat your dead?" Aghast, they replied, "Nothing." Then he asked the tribe who ate their dead, "What would it take for you to burn your dead?" "Nothing," they replied, equally aghast. From this, Herodotus concluded that custom is king, that right and wrong are merely local ideas which do not survive the journey from one tribe to another. I take it you're in agreement? Then let me ask you this. If you visited a tribe where they ate each other, copulated with the dead and drank wine from cups made out of human skulls, would you still maintain that within such a tribe there is nothing wrong with such conduct? And that's a credit to you. It is the mark of a civilized person to change their position when presented with a superior argument. My point is this. I don't think anyone alive truly knows any hard and fast rules about right and wrong. If there is one thing I have observed about rules, it is that virtuous people do not need them, and evil people will always find a way around them. And so we must accept our limitations, and the sad truth that no human society will ever achieve the utopia for which it strives.
Welke utopia heeft een
In
dystopie als
mathematics, we would
tegenstand?
call it an asymptote. a line that can be approached but never reached. Because the only way to create a utopia is with the ever-present threat of force, such as the Golden Rule. This and no other is the root from which a tyrant springs when he first appears as a protector. And life under tyranny is no utopia at all.
Leuk.
I'm glad to hear that. In any case, thank you for humoring an old man. I would be happy to answer your questions. You mean, how did I end up living alone in this cave with nothing but these relics? I was a quarrelsome young man. At 19, I left Corinth for Rome to study rhetoric at one of her finest academies. Back then, I used to enjoy verbally sparring with everyone I could. It became heated, he drew a gladius, and I won the argument, but lost my life. I woke up on the banks of the Styx at a campfire opposite Karen. Of course, I tried to persuade her to let me return. I settled in, made friends, and learned what I could. So I began looking for a place to hide underground. Fortunately, I returned to my friends above, persuaded them to join me, and 12 of us descended for the last time to live out our days hidden from him. They are one and the same. My generation was wiped out, turned to gold many years ago. My friends and I were... I think it's safest to assume that if I was to return, Hades... I fear that if you were to utter my name in the city, even by mistake, that Hades would hear you and know I am still alive. I'm afraid I am the only one left. Some from malnutrition. It has been lonely. Before my unexpected living in darkness is not without its challenges. And sometimes, when there are Greek people living up above, I surface at night and salvage the offerings they've left in the temple of Demeter. The greater challenge is the isolation, so I like to imagine arguments, where I argue both sides. But, like so many things in life, arguments are better with a partner. As you wish. Ha! Did we not discuss it? You seek the plaque bearing the Egyptian. It is a cursed object. I will tell you, but you may find him hostile. Very few know this, but before the Romans came to this city, it was once entirely Greek. When the Romans came, in typical fashion, they claimed it as their own. Thus, the shrine of Persephone became... And when they found an obelisk bearing the name Hades, and the city's dwindling Greek residents witnessing this compulsive... They gathered their art and valuables, secreted them away through the temple of Demeter. However, there was one thing that always seemed out of place to me, and it is the very thing you seek. An even older plaque bearing an Egyptian inscription. We had no idea until years later when the first of my friends began to die. As a result of their deaths, we began to dig catacombs branching off from this cavern to lay them to rest. We extended the tunnel so far that we accidentally discovered another, an even older tunnel, which somebody had gone to great lengths to keep hidden. Suddenly it made sense why there was an out-of-place Egyptian plaque among our people's possessions. You see, we proud Greeks had thought the Romans beasts for stealing. But it turns out this... I think it is best you head through the... There are certain things... Take this key.
Yeah?
I enjoyed our... Ah, you've returned.
Hey. Ja, die filosoof ken ik wel. De sceptic. We worden vervecht dus, oké. Ik hem toch. Ja, dus, maar het is niet goud. Oeps, deze. Dit is inderdaad Egyptisch. Meisjes, misschien. Van deze kan allemaal afvallen. Dit is een nubbis, hè? Ja. Een second als ander.
Stop! Do not come any closer. Who are you? I am Kabash. And let me guess. Another Greek or Roman come to loot and plunder the resting place of my ancestors, Trousers, boots, curious here. No, I suppose you do not. Then what do you want? To what end? That is welcome news. You really are not Greek or Roman, are you? I was planning to return it myself, but for now, I must remain. Here, take it and restore the honor of Osiris.
Dat was makkelijk.
Now, As for the other plaque, indeed, I have it right here. I stumbled across a collection of dusty curiosities while searching for a place to hide from the hungry children of Earth. You may not. In fact, I am... Because it speaks a treacherous... I will tell you, but first...
Do us. Het is ongeveer.
Indeed, and I see you know our history. This is the Duat. See what has become of it. I have been down here for weeks, piecing together its story, and here is what I have learned. As Egypt declined and the Greeks had their turn to flourish, their souls came here in great numbers. When they found the obelisk bearing the name Osiris, the true god of the underworld, they desecrated it, removing his, even the ferryman of the dead, known to, as if that desecration was not enough. My only solace is that the Greek... It is inscribed with a script I do not recognize, but it is ancient, almost as if it is older than the plaque bearing Osiris's name. But if that is so, it would imply the gods of Egypt are mere imitations too, copied and corrupted from an ancient people who prospered even before us, and that my people did to them what the Greeks and Romans did to us. But this I cannot accept. I sense a deception. Perhaps it is the... You will never know. This work of sacrilege... You are too late. It is done. You would plunge into the depths of the Duat with no way back up. Madness. If it will help you to... I am from Rakotis, which you may know as... Since the Romans had taken over, when the fires broke out last year, I tried to help. On my 7th trip, I told him his brother would have to save himself, and he tried to bribe me by placing a coin into my hand. When I awoke on the banks of the river to a stranger wearing a ram head, it did not dawn on me until much later that he was the... This is where I belong, as king. I think if someone is to break the golden rule, do to the doer. As for the punishment that will come from it, I do not know. What could... All I know is everyone so good. Wait, you would plunge into the... we shall see.
En toen ging ik in de Egyptische onderwereld. Jee! Oké. Ja, there we go, oké. Oké, ik weet waar ik ben. Oké. Het zijn de Sumerians inderdaad, oké. Het was een van die volken, maar ik weet niet precies welke. Is iets hier nog aan leven? Lijkt me niet op. Kan ik hier niet langs? Ik kan hier niet langs. Dat is leuk. Wat? Zie daar zo'n puzzel. Laten we eens kijken. We proberen ze ook te verdedigen. Iedereen probeert zichzelf te verdedigen van de standbeelden. Ik wacht niet aan het water springen, oké. Ja, hier heb ik natuurlijk geen enkel hulp. Ik weet niet of dat zo handig was. Ik zou het raar vinden als ik hier geld vind. Daar is eentje. Dit is de welkom. Wachten. Dat het waterniveau stijgen is niet heel lekker trouwens.
When I told you that you would not find a way back up, that was not a prediction. That was a promise. You will die here. I disagree. I warned you. You have undermined and dishonored. Very well, I will. Why should I let... That may be true of many things, but this is different. Does that not mean our prayers to... Now that I think about it, my people would sometimes call Osiris the god of many names.
Het is dat ik een beetje geschiedenis en filosofie heb gehad.
But the underworld of my people is so different to this. Many of my ancestors endured great hardship. We prepared to have our hearts weighed on Anubis, and yet I arrive here to find the Book of the Dead contained. Did our priests steal and embellish the stories of an old... I am not sure I follow. Speak plainly. Now you insult me. You... Ha, good. I welcome it. You see, the philosophy... I can only hope...
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Ah, fuck. Oh, we can niet doen.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Wimpel. Een achievement. Oké, maar... Oké. Ik doe...
I can...
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Ja, oké. Oké, maar ik heb hem niet door, ik heb hem door. Wat?
Good. I can...
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Jammer.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Ik moet hier echt weer even over nadenken. Ik moet alles proberen eigenlijk. Dat is het.
Very well. Why should I? Then you admit many of my ancestors. We prepared to have our, and yet I arrive here. Did our priests blaspheme? You have. Ha, good. I can.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Oké, tijd om gewoon weg te gaan. Check it. Daar kwam ik uit. Komt toch hier uit? En dan ga ik. Huh? Kom maar zo. Dat is dag 2. Oh, dat is mijn issue. Yep. Nee. Mis.